Now let's go talk about why Laughing Flower is the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yo, what do you need? What's this? I gotta make a Red Dragon Archfiend video? Why? Laughing Flower is way better than Red Dragon Archfiend. Like, what? This is dumb. I really don't want to make a video on Red Dragon Archfiend. That card pisses me off. I mean, I guess technically it's more relevant than Laughing Flower, but Laughing Flower is way better than... Fine, whatever. I guess we gotta get nice with the YouTube algorithm anyways, so... I guess in today's video we're gonna talk about why Red Dragon Archfiend is garbage. What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video, I'm going to be explaining my reasoning on why I personally feel like Red Dragon Archfiend is a garbage card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Now, before you leave any hate comments or whatnot, please watch the video from start to finish, because I'm going to be talking about a lot of points in this video, like why I'm actually making this video in the first place, a couple things that I like and dislike about Red Dragon Archfiend, and last but not least, some Red Dragon Archfiend support cards that would probably make the deck a lot better than it is right now. So, let's get going on today's video. So, the reason why I'm making today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video is mostly because originally the plan for this video was for me to make a Red Dragon Archfiend rank PP video. As you guys know, with these rank PP videos that I made, if you guys are a subscriber of mine or just simply have seen one of them in the past, what I try to do with my rank PP videos is that I try to get you guys 3 dual replays that are pretty decent, compile them together and add some music to it. Afterwards, I do a live deck list and I talk about the deck that I built, and then afterwards what I do is that I basically do some live commentary duels. So like I said, that was the original point of why I was making this video, was for a Red Dragon Archfiend deck, and it really didn't work out. I was trying a lot of different builds with Red Dragon Archfiend and ranked PvP in King of Games, and there was just a lot of things that fell flat with this deck, and that's why I really wanted to make this video. I actually do really like Red Dragon Archfiend as a card because Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D is my favorite anime of all time, so the fact that, you know, Red Dragon Archfiend is Jack Atlas's ace monster is really cool, and I can appreciate the card for that fact. At some point in the future, I would love to get a copy of Red Dragon Archfiend to add it to my collection, because I would love to get all the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D Signer Dragons at some point. But after trying out Red Dragon Archfiend and Rank PvP and trying to do so many different decks, I really just wanted to make this video on some criticism that I have with the card itself. I am going to talk about some good points in this video, but I'm going to talk about some really bad points about this card, and then also I'm going to be showing you guys some combos that you can do to easily summon into Red Dragon Archfiend, but since the card's not really that good, I don't recommend building a deck off of it, but this video will actually be helpful if you guys are trying to do some summons for Red Dragon Archfiend for maybe some extra gems and stuff like that. So let's go on the breakdown on Red Dragon Archfiend and talk about the card itself and some good points and bad points about the card. Let's go talk about the positives and negatives about Red Dragon Archfiend. And first things first, I gotta say a negative straight off the bat with Red Dragon Archfiend is that literally the only way to add this card into your extra deck is through a skill, Mark of the Dragon Wings. A bad thing about that is that since you are utilizing your skill slot in order to add Red Dragon Archfiend into your deck, you can't use any other powerful skills in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links to help you out in your Red Dragon Archfiend. At some point in the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, we will have Red Dragon Archfiend as a, you know, attainable card to throw into any deck from a main box and mini box, but currently Red Dragon Archfiend isn't in a main box or mini box, and the only way to, you know, add the card into your deck is to use Mark of the Dragon Wings, which is from Jack Atlas, which is currently an exclusive character into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. And some of you guys that are watching this video possibly don't have Jack Atlas unlocked, and if you don't have Jack Atlas unlocked, you can't use Red Dragon Archfiend. Of course, in the future, they might add it into a main box or mini box, and Jack Atlas will come back into Duel Links in multiple events, but nonetheless, there is times where you will have no possible way to add Red Dragon Archfiend into your deck. Anyways, though, for anybody that doesn't know, Mark of the Dragon Wings, at the beginning of the duel, you can add 2 Dark Resonator to your deck, then add 1 Red Dragon Archfiend into your extra deck. Dark Resonator is not really that bad of a card. I'll actually talk about that later. You can combo this card pretty decently to do some synchro summoning with Red Dragon Archfiend, but so that's not a bad card, but overall, Red Dragon Archfiend is kind of a mad card. Let's go break it down. So first of all, Red Dragon Archfiend is an 8-star Dark Dragon Synchro effect. It takes 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters, which is a really good thing about Red Dragon Archfiend that I will say. The fact that it is a generic synchro monster is awesome because you can use any tuner plus non-tuner monster in order to synchro summon into this card. Sadly, we don't have any crazy good tuner and non-tuner monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, but as time goes on, there will be some better support in the game where you can easily synchro summon into some monsters, and Red Dragon Archfiend might be a better option in the future if we have some really good tuner and non-tuner monsters. But I am happy that this is a generic synchro monster because you can use a lot of combos in order to synchro summon it into Red Dragon Archfiend. Another thing that I do like about Red Dragon Archfiend is that after damage calculation, if this card attacks the defense position monster your opponent controls, you can destroy all defense position monster your opponent controls. Now, this effect isn't the greatest in the world, but for what it's worth, it is an alright effect. So one card or two cards that you actually can combo with Red Dragon Archfiend to utilize this effect best is using Windstorm or Curse of Anubis. Both of those cards switch your opponent's monsters from attack position into defense position. Keep in mind though about Curse of Anubis, it won't switch your opponent's normal monsters into defense position, but yeah, you can basically use Curse of Anubis and Windstorm to switch all your monsters or your opponent's monsters into defense position. And if you have Red Dragon Archfiend onto the field, you can attack into your opponent's monsters and all of them will get destroyed through Red Dragon Archfiend. So that's an alright effect right there. One really bad thing though, in my opinion, about Red Dragon Archfiend is that during your end phase, destroy all other monsters you control that did not declare attack this turn. This card must be face up on the field to activate and resolve this effect. I honestly really do not like this effect because basically if you set a monster in defense position or you have a monster in attack position that you really don't want to attack with, if you don't attack with those monsters get automatically destroyed from Red Dragon Archfiend, which is really annoying. Of course, you could combo cards that have effects where if they are destroyed, they can activate an effect. Like for example, Worm. If that card is destroyed, you can mill 3 cards from your opponent's deck into the graveyard. You could combo that with Red Dragon Archfiend, but 9 times out of 10, why would you want to do that in the first place? It's just way too much of a hassle to do that in the first place. But there is that right there with Red Dragon. Another good thing that I do like about this card is the fact that its attack and defense points are actually pretty decent. So Red Dragon Archfiend has 3,000 attack points and 2,000 defense points. The thing is that Red Dragon Archfiend is currently the only 8-star generic synchro monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that has 3,000 attack points, which is actually pretty good. And the biggest utility about Red Dragon Archfiend is literally the fact that it's a 3,000 beater. Technically, there is one other 8-star synchro monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that has 3,000 attack, and that's Black Brute Draco. But with Brute Draco, you need to have 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Gemini monsters. Overall, Red Dragon Archfiend is literally just a 3,000 beat stick, and due to the fact that it's a 3,000 beat stick, you would want to run a lot of other better monsters than Red Dragon Archfiend. Like for example, if literally your whole purpose as a deck is to get 3,000 beat sticks onto the board, you would probably want to play a Blue Eyes deck, for example. Blue Eyes is much easier to summon into because half the time you only need 1 card to summon into Blue Eyes compared to Red Dragon Archfiend, where you're going to need a minimum of 2 cards in order to synchro summon into Red Dragon Archfiend, which makes this card not too good. But you know, maybe there's some better cards out there for Red Dragon Archfiend that are some really good support cards for Red Dragon Archfiend that we can, you know, if we summon Red Dragon Archfiend, there's a lot of good uses into them. So first thing we're going to talk about is 2 Red Dragon Archfiend support cards that we have in Duel Links right now, and I'm going to be honest, they are very mediocre. We first have Red Dragon Face and we have Scarlet Security. Let's go talk about Red Dragon Face. So, Face. This card, if you control a Red Dragon Archfiend, you can draw 2 cards. You cannot normal or special summon monsters the turn you activate this card, and until the end of your opponent's turn after this card is activated. So, on paper, this card does sound cool because of the fact that you can draw 2 cards with this card. Technically, this is a +1 because you are using 1 card in order to draw into 2. So, there you go right there. But there's a lot of handicaps to Red Dragon Face. First of all, you need to control a Red Dragon Archfiend onto your field, and the fact that you have to first use the skill in order to summon Red Dragon Archfiend, and you need to have Red Dragon Archfiend on the field in order to use this card is just not good at all. Because multiple things can happen. One, you can have Red Dragon Face in your hand, but you can't use it because you don't have Red Dragon Archfiend onto the field. And your opponent could easily destroy into Red Dragon Archfiend because since you wasted so many resources in order to synchro summon into Red Dragon Archfiend, your opponent's gonna have a ton of resources to just get rid of your monster, so you can't really utilize Red Dragon Face that well at all. Another thing too is that if you use Red Dragon Face, you can't normal or special summon any monsters the turn you activate this card. You could normal set your monsters. If you have a monster in your hand, you can set it down and face down defense position, but due to Red Dragon Archfiend's effect, if you don't attack with that monster, well, Red Dragon Archfiend will blow up the monster, so that's another really bad handicap with Red Dragon Face. Of course, you could draw into more back row though. That would be a very handy thing into Red Dragon Face, but the issue is since there's so many requirements to this card, it's just not a good card. Of course, though, Konami does know this. They did embark this card as an end card, so it's not really that good of a card, but I mean, hey, at least we have it, I guess. Next up, we're going to be talking about Scarlet Security, and this card is a lot better than a Red Dragon Face, but it does have a lot of the same handicaps that Red Dragon Face has. So literally what Scarlet Security says is that if you control a Red Dragon Archfiend monster, you can destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. That's honestly a really good card, but there's still a lot of downsides to this. First of all, the biggest downside is that you need to have Red Dragon Archfiend on the field, and since, you know, Red Dragon Archfiend is used only through a skill, your opponent could easily get rid of your Red Dragon Archfiend. There's not a lot of chances you're going to activate Scarlet Security. Another thing that's bad about this too is that your opponent can still chain their spell and trap cards from their, you know, back row. So if they they had stuff like Canadia, they could just flip down your Red Dragon Archfiend as is and it wouldn't even matter. Or they could econ your Red Dragon Archfiend right away. Another thing that's really sucks about Scarlet Security is that it's not a searchable card. Like, for example, Scarlet Security is very, very similar to a card like Dark Magic Attack. Dark Magic Attack is literally the exact same effect, except that you need Dark Magician on the board. And with Dark Magic Attack, you can actually search for it pretty easily, and Dark Magician's a lot easier to summon compared to Red Dragon Archfiend. So this is like, Scarlet Security is literally a handicapped Dark Magic Attack, and you know, it's not too good. Now let's go talk about some of the other cards that we could easily summon into it. So I actually have a bunch of other cards that I can show you guys to easily summon into some 8-star synchro monsters, but these combos are very niche and everything like that. It's way too much work to get out Red Dragon Archfiend, but for what it's worth, it is combos that you can do. Some easy combos in order to go into Red Dragon Archfiend is using cards like a Tricky and a 3-star tuner monster. With Tricky, you can special summon this card by discarding a card from your hand, special summon the Tricky. Sad thing is though, if you are going to go this route to get Red Dragon Archfiend out immediately in your turn, you are going to be using 3 cards in order for this combo, because you're going to use Tricky, you got to discard a card to summon Tricky, and then you're going to need a 3-star tuner. That is a use of 3 cards for one synchro monster, which is very mediocre, but for what it's worth, it is a combo if you really wanted to summon Red Dragon Archfiend. So that's the fastest way to do it in Duel Links, and the most consistent way to do it in Duel Links if you have Tricky and, you know, a 3-star tuner, but it's not really good right there. Another really good 5-star monster that you guys can use though is Earth Armor Ninja. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can actually special summon this card from your hand. This is actually in some cases a lot better than Tricky if you are going turn 2, because you only need to use this 5-star monster and a 3-star tuner monster in order to synchro summon into Red Dragon Archfiend. Still, it's not really worth it to summon into Red Dragon Archfiend, but it's still a thing you can do. A couple other combos you can do is combo Trident Warrior with Delta Flyer. Delta Flyer is a really good level 3 tuner, because once per turn you can select another face-up monster you control and increase its level by 1. So if you combo Trident Warrior, which can special summon a level 3 or lower monster, you can raise the level of Delta Flyer and go for an easy 8-star synchro summon into Red Dragon Archfiend. You can also tech in Red Dragon Archfiend into your deck with Morphotronics, because with Morphotronics Scope, and if this card's in face-up defense position, you can change this card to a level 4 and you can combo it with other of your Morphotronic cards. But for now, since Red Dragon Archfiend isn't in a game isn't in the game as a normal card, it's only through a skill, you're gonna probably have to wait before you can use Morphotronics to combo with the deck. But maybe if you wanted to, you actually could play Morphotronics with Mark of the Dragon Wing. So that is actually an option that you can do, but there's that right there. Another combo you can do is with Salvage Warrior. If you tribute summon this card, you can special summon a tuner monster from your graveyard. So if you combo, you know, the card Dark Resonator, you know, with your garbage, or what was that card called again? My bad. If you combo it with Salvage Warrior, you can tribute off your Dark Resonator. Since your Dark Resonator is in the grave, you can special summon it back with Salvage Warrior. Go for an 8-star synchro summon right there. That combo is ridiculously slow though, so I'd refrain away from that, but it is a combo nonetheless. A couple other cards you could combo with too is Wind Up Soldier and Wind Up Warrior. Both of these cards can increase their level by 1 by targeting one face-up Wind Up monster on the field. So you can actually, you know, use these cards to boost them up to a level 5 and then combo them with a 3-star tuner monster in order to go for that synchro summon right there. And Wind Ups have a couple decent trap cards that you can use to defend them on the board for a little bit, so keep that in mind. A couple really good tuners that you can combo with Red Dragon Archfiend is Trust Guardian. This card cannot be used as a synchro material monster except for a synchro material monster of a 7 or higher synchro monster. Once per turn, the synchro monster cannot be destroyed by battle. If this effect's applied, that synchro monster loses 400 attack and defense to the end of the damage step. Overall, it's a pretty decent card. You actually keep your Red Dragon Archfiend alive for a little bit, but there's a downside where it loses 400 attack and defense. Delta Flyer, like I said, you can increase its level by 1, make it a 4-star combo with other monsters, or since it's a 3-star, you can combo with the Earth Armor Ninja and Tricky. You can use Full Helm Knight. This card can protect itself for at least 1 turn, which is really helpful. So you can combo Full Helm Knight with Salvage Warrior. Since this card's still on the board, you can tribute off this card with Salvage Warrior, bring back Full Helm Knight, and go for an 8-star synchro summon right there. So that's also alright, but that is a little bit slow. And then last but not least, we do have the Interplanetary Purpley Thorny Dragon. If this card, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effects into the graveyard, you can actually special summon this card from your hand. This card's pretty decent too, because it's a 5-star monster, combo it with your 3-star tuner monsters, and there you go right there. A lot of easy ways to summon into Red Dragon Archfiend, but even though those methods are pretty decent into summoning Red Dragon Archfiend, the fact that Red Dragon Archfiend isn't a good card itself doesn't really make it worth it, because you waste all of your time to synchro summon with that, to use these monsters to synchro summon into Red Dragon Archfiend, only for Red Dragon Archfiend to get destroyed by, I don't know, a Dark Core, Tribute to the Doom, I don't know, some meta deck gets banished, something like that. There's a lot of shenanigans that can happen to Red Dragon Archfiend where these combos don't really work too well. Now, in the last part of today's video, I'm going to be talking about a lot of cards that would, one, make Red Dragon Archfiend a really good deck in my opinion, and two, these are cards that would actually be most likely attainable from Jack Atlas. So we're going to be talking about different Resonator cards that are in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or just in Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. We're going to be talking about some different red cards in the game, and we're going to be talking about some specific Red Dragon Archfiend support. I'm not going to mention any of the Red Dragon Archfiend synchro monsters. We're only going to stick to support for Red Dragon Archfiend itself. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of Red Dragon Archfiend synchro monsters that are not like they're just different from Red Dragon Archfiend itself. So let's begin. And honestly, one of the best cards that we can get for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links would probably be Red Resonator as a tuner monster. Red Resonator is a 2-star Fire Fiend tuner effect. When this card's normal summon, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand. When this card special summon, you can target a face-up monster on the field and gain life points equal to its attack. You only can use the effect of Red Resonator once per turn. So this card is crazy good just in general for synchro summoning because one, when you summon this card, you can special summon a 4 or lower monster from your hand, and you can go for quick 8-star, not 8-star synchro summons. You can go for some 6-star synchro summons, 5-star synchro summons, easy peasy with Red Resonator. But the reason why I'm mentioning Red Resonator for Red Dragon Archfiend specifically because another card that would combo really well with this Red Resonator is actually Red Warg. Red Warg is a 6-star Fire Fiend effect. When you normal summon a Resonator monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, but its attack becomes halved. What's really nice about Red Warg is the fact that it is a 6-star monster. So if you have Red Warg in your hand and Red Resonator in your hand, you summon Red Resonator from your hand, finish off its effect, and then summon Red Warg or chain it or whatever you need to do. You can have Red Warg on the field along with Red Resonator to synchro summon into Red Dragon Archfiend really easily from there. There's some really good synergy from there. There's some really good combo right there, and I feel like these would be some really cool cards that we can actually get from Jack Atlas that would help us easily summon into Red Dragon Archfiend and kind of have some consistency going. Another card that we could add to the consistency too is probably Resonator Call, where you can add a Resonator monster from your deck to your hand. So you activate Resonator Call, search for your Red Resonator. It's going to be a lot easier to synchro summon into that monster, because I'm going to be honest, 2-card combos in Duel Links is pretty difficult, but when you have searcher cards like Resonator Call, you get to probably make the consistency rise a lot more to synchro summon and all that fun stuff. Another card that I would like to mention too is that Red Sprinter. Red Sprinter is a pretty cool card that we could possibly get from Jack Atlas. It's a 4-star Fire Fiend effect. When this card is normal special summon while it control no other monsters, you can special summon a level 3 or lower Fiend type tuner from your hand or graveyard. You only can use the effect of Red Sprinter once per turn. So this card is actually pretty combo with some of the other Fiend type monsters. So you're using Fiend type tuners, you can use all the other Resonator cards because all the Resonator tuners are Fiend type also. So that's pretty decent right there. So those are some really good cards that I don't see being added into Duel Links anytime soon, but it would be really cool if you could get those in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. A couple other really good cards is that apparently Red Dragon Archfiend, for what it's worth, has some pretty decent trap cards that I could see in Duel Links. Like, they're not really that good in the TCG, but if they're in Duel Links, it would probably be pretty crazy. And first of all, we're going to talk about Red Cocoon. Red Cocoon, you can target a dragon type synchro monster you control, equip this card to it while it's battling an opponent's monster until the end of the damage step. You can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. During the end phase of this card is in the graveyard because it's sent there this turn, you can target a Red Dragon Archfiend in your graveyard and special summon it. So first off, Red Cocoon can combo with any dragon type synchro monsters. So you can combo this with Stardust Dragon, Black Rose Dragon, Ancient Fairy Dragon, and all sorts of just dragon synchro monsters like that. Or you can combo it with, of course, Red Dragon Archfiend. And like this card says, if you do, while it's battling an opponent's monster until the end of the damage step, negate the effects of all face-up monster your opponent controls. That's not too bad. And a really cool thing about this is that if you have Red Cocoon equipped with your Red Dragon Archfiend, if your Red Archfiend gets destroyed during the end phase of that turn, you can special summon a Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard and special summon it. And like this card says, you could combo this with other dragon type monsters. So if you already have Red Dragon Archfiend in your graveyard and you synchro summon into like Stardust Dragon, equip Red Cocoon to it, Red Cocoon goes away, gets sent from the field to the graveyard, and then you get to activate special summon Red Dragon Archfiend. So that's really cool right there. And also, I think from what this card says, since it says during the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard because it's sent there this turn, you can target a Red Dragon Archfiend in the graveyard. You can also do other ways to get rid of this card. So maybe you have Red Cocoon face down, you can activate a card like Double Cyclone for what it's worth, or Storm, destroy Red Cocoon, destroy some of your opponent's back row, and then on your end phase you can special summon Red Dragon Archfiend. I don't think Red Cocoon is crazy overpowered, but maybe or not Duel Links or Konami would add this into the game. That's a pretty cool card right there. Another card that I doubt we'll see anytime soon in Duel Links is Red Screen. This is a continuous trap card. Your opponent's monsters cannot declare attacks. During each of your end phases, you must pay 1,000 life points. This is not optional, or this card is destroyed. You can target a level 1 tuner monster in your graveyard, destroy this card, and if you do, special summon that target. Red Dragon Archfiend must be on the field to activate or resolve this effect. So yeah, you can make this card's pretty good because your opponent's monster can't declare an attacks, but during each of your end phases, you will have to pay 1,000 life points, so this card is destroyed. And yeah, and then another really good thing about this card is that you can target a level 1 or lower tuner monster in your graveyard, destroy this card, and if you do special summon that target, Red Dragon Archfiend must be on the field to activate this card though. So I'm not too sure on the wording of this card, but from what I'm gathering at, you could possibly use this card without Red Dragon Archfiend, and if that's the case, then this card would be an instant UR and everybody will be playing it. But if you do have to have Red Dragon Archfiend on the field in order to use this card in the first place, then yeah, Red Dragon Archfiend would be really helpful, because Red Screen is not that bad of a card, because you can just keep attacking into your opponent and they can't attack you. So I think Red Screen would be a pretty decent card into the game, but at the same time, I probably don't see that card being into Duel Links anytime soon. So there's that right there, but it's another interesting card to talk about. Next up, we're going to talk about King Scarlet. This is what this card says, is that if a Red Dragon Archfiend monster you control battles, during damage calculation, make that monster you control unable to be destroyed by battle, and if you do special summon this card is a normal monster. It's a Fiend Tuner Fire, level 1, attack 0, defense 0. This card was still a trap card. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Your Red Dragon Archfiend, if it battles during damage calculation, make that monster you control unable to be destroyed by battle. This card I could actually probably see being added to Duel Links more than some of the other cards that we're talking about, but yeah, you can add this and make Red Dragon Archfiend immune from getting destroyed from battle, so you can attack into your opponent and not have to worry too much right there. And you can special summon a Fiend type monster and you can summon this card as a Fiend type monster and maybe go for a 9-star synchro summon like Gigantic Castle. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys have any differing opinions from me though, go to the comment section down below and tell me some of the cards that you guys think that would make Red Dragon Archfiend a really good card. In this video specifically, I really just wanted to talk about cards that directly support Red Dragon Archfiend or are Jack Atlas related, so that's why I was looking more into the Red and Resonator cards more than some of the other cards that would just help out dragon type monsters in general. But yeah, if you guys have any different cards I didn't mention in today's video, please go to the comment section down below and let's get some discussion going. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video right here. If you guys enjoyed today's video and watched to the end and haven't already, be sure to go hit that like button down below in the video, and that shows your support and everything like that, and subscribe to the channel for more Duel Links content or content from me. I'm gonna be changing up some things in the future. I'm gonna be, you know, uploading different types of content here and there, but the focus is still gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh related, so just keep that in mind when you subscribe to my channel. A couple other things too is that if you guys want to, you can join my Discord, link in the description down below. You guys can join my Discord. It'd be fun to get some new members into there. And then last but not least, if you want to support me as a content creator, you can do so by joining as a YouTube member. $5 a month, you get some exclusive emotes, Discord roles, etc., and it supports me as a content creator. That'd be greatly appreciated, but of course you don't have to. Still, that's gonna do it for me for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll go see you guys in the next one. Peace.